Hello fellow monster hunters, and welcome to Monster Bin. Now recently I was having a debate about what makes a film a masterpiece. In my mind, a masterpiece requires two criteria. Number one, it has to have changed the course of film history, at least in some respect. And number two, it needs to stand the test of time and still be watchable, enjoyable, at least somewhat believable to this day. And boy, have I got a creature from a movie just like that today. But not just a monster, we're talking the monster, the king of all monsters. He's big, he's bad, he's bold, and he's in the Monster Bin.
I died, but I wasn't ready for that kind of a commitment, so I made a deal. I would get to breathe again, and I would come back and fight them on their terms. This is my story. These are my chronicles. This is my war.
Now, in November of 1944, Japan was finally ready to make an artistic statement about their feelings on the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What a statement that was going to be. It was going to come in the form of a 164-foot-tall, atomic fire-breathing gargantuan named Godzilla. Now, out of the 30 or so subsequent movies and spin-offs, this is one of the few times that you ever really see Godzilla directly attack human beings. And I'm not just talking they're in the way, he crushes buildings and it's collateral damage. I'm talking about him directly attacking humans with his atomic fire and crushing them because they're pissing him off. Now later, Toho would actually put down a mandate on their films, making Godzilla just a little bit friendlier, but make no mistake, when Godzilla first came out, he was not a protector. He was not fighting off other monsters or anything like that. He was a force of nature, and he was incredibly dangerous. This is his first outing. Now, this legendary Godzilla design actually was never supposed to happen. Originally, when the script was written, the idea was that this was going to be basically a big octopus or other similar sea creature, really showing the influence that It Came From Beneath the Sea had on this production. Now, the filmmakers actually also wanted to similarly bring the creature to life using stop-motion animation, which was having a real heyday with filmmakers, special effects men like Ray Harryhausen making amazing work in that field. Now, when that proved to be impractical, not just for monetary reasons, but also because of the time that it would take, E.G. Tsuburaya, the effects man on the production, would put himself down in the history books, make a legend out of himself by making one choice. He was going to put a man in a suit. Now, this still wasn't going to be easy. The fact is that using latex at this time was a pretty new thing. So they made their own. They made their own latex to make the suit out of by melting in big chunks of the plant itself in solvents. And when they made the first suit, it looked amazing. Apparently it looked really, really great. But the actor inside the suit got about 10 paces and he passed right out. The latex had cured so hard that it was not something that he could walk in, not something he was mobile in at all. So an entire second suit had to be created. So you really have to understand that at this time, that this was the early days of knowing how to bring a monster to the screen. Really, really legendary stuff. Now, in addition to the suit, there also was a hand puppet created that was used basically just for the scenes where you have a close-up of him roaring, taking a bite of something, or when he's using his trademark atomic breath. Now, actually, the first time that you see Godzilla in the film, it's not the suit at all, it's actually the hand puppet. And as an aside, the first time you see Godzilla in the film, doesn't he look kinda cute? I mean, I just want to give him a hug. Look at that. He's just, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? So awesome. That scene and the scene that directly follow it are interesting because the scene where they're discussing Godzilla, it just... the artistic rendering just reminds me of that scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's the only part of the movie that just makes me smirk when I see it.
Let's take a breather, Dottie. The X-1 needs to cool down.
I'm a little overheated myself. Come on over here, Tito.
Now, even besides the fact that he's 164 feet tall and over 20,000 tons, yeah, you better believe Godzilla will whip your ass. Every monster, every creature that has ever stood to Godzilla has fallen. But since this is only a review of the actual 1954 initial film, that's not a part of the equation. Fact is, it doesn't have to be a part of the equation, because Godzilla is built to survive. All those atomic bomb drops and bomb tests have given Godzilla what appears to be a completely impenetrable hide. All the best attacks that the Japanese Defense Force throws at him bounce off him and barely affect him. He's not even really annoyed by most of it. I love here where they're just unleashing all of these missiles on Godzilla, and he's flapping his arms around, just a little upset, like, ah, stop it, knock it out. Every step Godzilla takes is destruction. Every time he waves his arms, it's another building knocked over. Even his tail is an agile instrument of destruction and chaos. Plus, he doesn't seem to mind at all taking chomps out of buildings and getting big steel pillars stuck between his teeth. It's no big deal to him, he doesn't care. But that's not even mentioning his most devastating attack there is. That's his atomic breath. Boom! Dead. You get hit with that, it's game over. And a matter of fact, you don't even need to be hit with it. Even if you're not, he's raining down so much radiation on you, there's no hope to survive. The fact is that if Godzilla opens his mouth, it's game over. You're done. So here's the deal, folks. One weapon, and only one, has ever proven to be an effective way to kill Godzilla, and it happens in this very first film. Now, Dr. Serizawa invents something called an oxygen destroyer, and what that does is removes all the oxygen from a body of water and then liquefies all organic matter. After some convincing, Dr. Serizawa decides that he will use this weapon on the creature, but before doing so, he destroys all of his notes, and when he goes to destroy the creature, he commits suicide. So this is the only time you'll ever see the oxygen destroyer in the entire series. Now what's interesting about this plan is that for it to work, they have to go and find Godzilla in his own territory, go into his own backyard, and destroy him there. This is pretty much a reversal of what Godzilla had done to Tokyo. Again, it's mankind and technology versus nature. This is actually a very haunting ending, as you notice that nobody's up and cheering or celebrating the death of Godzilla. And they would never have the opportunity to do that, because in the subsequent 29 plus films, Godzilla has never been killed. So, unless you've got an opportunity to recreate the oxygen destroyer, you're never going to be able to kill Godzilla. Sorry, fellow monster hunters. Them's the breaks. He wins. Well, between 27 additional Japanese Toho sequels and 2 American productions, that's an even 30 films to sift through with something for everybody. Although, we should pretty much subtract one of those American productions, because I think everybody seems to agree that the 1998 Godzilla just wasn't Godzilla. But even besides that, we have books, we have video games, we have not 1 but 2 Godzilla cartoon shows, plus his appearance on the rare and hard to find TV series Zone Fighter, which if you can get your hands on, let me tell you, it is awesome. Plus, some good and not so good comic books. And this is one of my favorites here, where this guy is seriously trying to fight Godzilla with a bazooka! Good luck, buddy. That's no oxygen destroyer. Godzilla is a megastar, and you know what? That's the way it should be, because he is the king of monsters. Final rankings for Godzilla are in. See how we did. Total on-screen time, 10 minutes and 41 seconds. That's just time where he's directly in the frame. Body count, tens of thousands of citizens, a bunch of fishermen, a sweet clock tower, one brilliant scientist. Does he live? Not in this one. Isn't that shocking? Godzilla, the king of all monsters, started out as a loser. Well, there you have it. Thank you for joining me to see what's in the monster bin. Next week, we're going to have a little bit of a better chance. We're going to go to Japan one more time, but this creature, one of my all-time favorites, is one that we actually stand a chance of fighting.
Stop hitching with the monster man, it was a bad plan, but I had to get to town unbidden, but the way I found it was a hand came down and pow, I got illuminated.